emergency room, he got the worst shifts. Dani defended herself, knowing that wasn't the complete truth. In reality, she had known something was off with the Rex, but for once, her father had been proud of her, and she didn't want to give up the guy who had finally won her dad's approval. He had been more impressed when she'd introduced him to Kip than when she'd graduated from college summa cum laude. Her dad was delighted that Dani was dating such a handsome, successful man, and she hadn't wanted to acknowledge that there could possibly be anything wrong with their relationship. However, in her heart, Dani always believed it was too good to be true. There was no way someone like Kip Newson would really be interested in someone like her, a less than beautiful, less than thin corporate drone whose greatest achievement was a perfectly risen souffle. And all her fantasies about a future with him had shattered when Ivy exposed him as the selfish, heartless, egotistical ass that he was. Dani had never been able to live up to her father's standards of beauty and charm. In her dad's eyes, she didn't come close to her mother's perfection. But living up to the memory of the gorgeous woman he loved and lost at such a young age was an impossible goal for his daughter to meet. Breaking into Dani's depressing thoughts, Ivy said, "When Dr. Detestable threw such a fit when you posted a picture of the two of you, I knew he was hiding something." "You're right." Dani swallowed the painful lump in her throat. "And working in human resources, I certainly should have thought to investigate his social media presence more thoroughly." "Speaking of which," Ivy popped a third, or maybe fourth, cookie in her mouth, then mumbled, "Last week, when you announced that you had turned in your resignation, you never said why you were bailing on your job." "It's hard to explain." Dani paused, distracted by Ivy's moans of appreciation at the cookie's peanut butter and coconut flavor. Finally, Dani said, "I really didn't have much choice. I had to resign. I was turning into someone I hated." She paused, thinking about the reason behind the reason, the one she couldn't share with Ivy. Even if she hadn't signed a non-disclosure agreement, she wouldn't have told her young friend about what she'd been forced to do. Although she'd resisted the CEO's directive to dissolve an entire department and sweep a scandal under the rug, in the end, she'd gone ahead and followed orders that she knew were morally wrong, something she'd never allow herself to do again. "Oh?" Ivy tilted her head. "Who were you turning into that was so bad?" "A sycophant." Dani spit the words out as if they were covered with slime. "Huh?" Ivy's confused expression morphed into an accusing glare. "You just made that word up." "I swear it's a real word." Dani hid her smile. Ivy was brilliant in the sciences, technology, and math, but her vocabulary lagged behind. Searching her mind for a relatable example, Dani said, "It means acting like someone's minion." "Oh," Ivy nodded sagely. "But how did you know you'd been minionized?" Dani chuckled, then explained, "It was pretty damn clear that I was burned out. I mean, what kind of person hears that over the weekends their boss died of a heart attack and their first thought is, gee, I guess we won't be having our usual Monday morning chew-out session after all." "Yeah, even if the guy was a hater, that was cold." Ivy used her tongue to rescue a crumb from the corner of her lips and frowned. "Which isn't like you at all." "That's what worried me. At that moment, I knew that if I stayed, I'd only become more and more of a corporate zombie." Dani blew out a breath. "Originally, I'd thought by being in HR I could make a difference in people's lives, welcome new employees, solve problems, make the company stronger. But that didn't happen." "Why?" Ivy played with one of the bright pink wisps of hair scattered among her long blonde strands. "Probably because I was working for the wrong firm," Dani confessed. "There's so much employee turnover, all I ever got to do was review resumes. After my inappropriate reaction to my boss's death, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I couldn't stand to read one more stupid response on a job application." "Like the one you told me about?" Ivy giggled. "The guy who circled no to the 'have you ever been arrested' question, then felt the need to explain?" "Exactly." Dani rolled her eyes. "He was doing so well until he got to the next question. Who knew a single word like 'why' would trip up someone so badly? If he would have just ignored it, but for some reason he filled in the blank with, 'never been caught.'" Both women laughed until they were gasping for air. They were still breathless when the doorbell rang. "Do you think we were too loud?"